Wait for that to, there we go. Hello and welcome for those who are joining on YouTube. Today, we're going to be looking into doing web scraping with Python. As I mentioned to some of you folks earlier, I've never used this library before. Usually I do this sort of stuff in JavaScript. So what we're actually going to be looking into is a library called Beautiful Soup. And I've had a look at the documentation. It's a little bit cryptic. So we'll see how we go. And the plan was to either look at Hacker News or some kind of financial data. I think we decided on this one. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to pull in this data and maybe get a list of in a JSON format of sorted by the I think it's sorted by what's it? I think it's the price at the moment. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe it's market cap. Yep. So that's essentially how large the financial market is for that coin. Now this could obviously be used for Forex or for other financial things or anything that's tabular data really. So we're gonna look into this and try and get a sorted array, maybe of, I don't know, we probably don't need hundreds. I'd say the top 10, and then put this into a JSON array. And then the idea would be that you can have some kind of Python scripts that you can run maybe on a batch job or a cron job. You set up a little AWS thing for it, and it maybe just pulls this data out and puts it into an S3 bucket, or if you're running on your local computer, it just adds it to a JSON file. So again, there's going to be a lot of experimentation today. It's been a while since I've worked with Python, so I'm going to brush off some of the old tools and definitely never worked with this library before. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I think this library requires of us is we actually have some kind of string, HTML string. So predominantly this Beautiful Soup library is responsible for taking in HTML and then doing some parsing on that. So that's what the first thing we're going to do is actually get this HTML. So for that, I believe there's a library in Python called request. Let's just go ahead and Google that. So Python Perl web page.
Tristan, will you be sharing your screen?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I completely forgot about that.
Thanks.
Classic Tristan. All right, that'll make a little bit more sense. So I was just looking at this website here, coinmarketcap.com. We're going to get the top 10 of these, however many you want, but I'm going to choose 10. I'm going to try and get the name of it and the price, and we'll see if they change over time. So yeah, this is going to be our task. Now the first thing is getting this HTML. So essentially what we're going to be doing is, if you go right click and go view source, view page source, this is what we're going to be parsing. Now this there might be an issue with this because it might be using some kind of front-end app like React. So we might have to wait. There seems to be quite a bit of text in here, so maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how we go. So first thing is doing this curl. So I think it's curl or Python download web page HTML. If you're using JavaScript, I'd use request library. But I think in this case, there's already a library for us. I forget exactly what it's called. URL lib. Yeah, sweet. Okay, so this seems to be doing the job. Zoom a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new Python repository. into code mentoring webinars. Call this scraping. Python scraping. Okay, so let's just try and do this first. So I'll create a new file. Let's call it scrape.py. I'm going to paste that in. Zoom in a bit. And then once this terminal works, I'm going to go Python 3, and then just pass the name of that file. So scrape.py. Okay, so we need to probably print the content. There we go. So that seems to have done the job, right? These few lines here. So this seems to be a native library built in to Python .request. And URL, I'm going to open that up. Now, obviously, we're going to change this URL to the URL that we want. So this is going to be the coinmarketcap.com. Again, I'll just paste that link in the description here for you guys. All right. Let's see if this works. Okay, so seems to be working pretty well. A lot of data there. So let's have a look at how we actually use this library. So here we've got the string, so that's essentially where we're at too. Now it's asking us to import beautiful soup. So let's go ahead and we probably need to install that. So if you are using Python, I think my terminal has just crashed. Great. Too much text. Just close some of these other windows down. All right. Well, let's not print that content because VS Code just crashed. The joys of Electron-based editors. Come on. Okay, here we go. Let's try it again. So if you're running Python 3, terminal's broken. If you're running Python 3, you should just be able to go pip install. So try that. I think it's pip install beautiful soup. So just check the installation to make sure. Yeah, it should be fine. Pip install soup. Okay, what's this complaining about? Is it pip 3? Okay, so that doesn't seem to be working. Okay, so it seems it's actually not installed through pip. Oh, sorry, beautiful soup 4. That's the. So if you're using easy install for Python 2 and then pip, I think is Python 3. So just paste that command in. I think that should be the same whether you're running Windows or Mac or Linux. There we go. Install pip 3 as well, just to make sure. Cool. So let's go back to where we were. So from BS4, I think is the shortcut for this, import beautiful soup. And then let's try this. So copy these commands. From BS4, import beautiful soup. soup equals beautiful soup, and then we call that with the HTML document that we got. So this is in our case content, and then the HTML.parser, which they might support XML and a few other things. Try this. Okay, so soup equals beautiful soup. We'll change that to content, and we'll go print soup.title. You should see what happens. There we go. So this is now actually spat out the title of this web page. If we go to the actual site, we should see the same thing here. Cryptocurrency market capitalization is coin market cap. There we go. So we've now done our first scraping, if you will. That's technically scraping of that particular thing. I'm going to pause here to see if anybody has any questions, if anyone is stuck on anything that we've done so far. It's this code up currently have. So Jim says, for reference, if you need additional info about setting up a virtual environment for pip. Okay, cool. So you should be able to, after you install pip, you should be able to paste that code in, and it should work straight away. So what do you think the next steps will be? What do you guys think?
You have to find where the names are, which maybe tag or something, and then find all the names of cryptocurrencies.
So we're going to select the first 10. So what I would actually do at this point is let's actually have a look at the HTML structure. Now keep in mind this might be rendered with React, so we may need to do some kind of fancy weighting or something like that. So let's have a look. They're using a table. So tables contains the whole thing. Then they've got a they've got a table head for this. And then the first TR is this one here. The first TD, so we want to skip the first TD, right, which is just this rank. And we want to go to the second TD. So let's have a look at what they've got in here. So they've got an image, and they've got a link. And look, they've even given it a class name, CMC link. So let's do a little bit of HTML query selector. So document.query selector all, and do .cmc link and see what that generates. So we've got 441 links on this page. So let's just see. Okay, so this doesn't look like the right thing. See how we've got these other links in here? All right, we don't want that. So we can't select by that class. So why don't we try table data? What we're trying to do is get to a place where we can easily get the names of these things. So why don't we try, instead of just .cmc link, we'll go tr, td, nth child. And it's going to be the second child of this. All right, so now we've got 100. So if we go to the bottom of the page, hopefully there should be 100 results here. Okay, so what that means is we now effectively have the, yeah, look, these are all correct, which is great. So that means we've effectively chosen. So that's the right query selector that we want there. So I suppose the next step would be, how do we actually convert that into beautiful soup? Okay, so we've got this command called find all, which might be what we need. Let's have a look at more of their API. Find. There we go. Find ID equals. Let's try something. Let's go. Does this table have a an ID or some unique identifier that we can target it? Let's have a look. CMC table wrapper outer. See if there's any other examples of this. Document.query select all. Okay, so it's 3 tables like this. So it's not exactly what we want. Well, what we're trying to do is find a way to get to this unique table. I think. Is it the first one? What is this thing here? I don't know what this is. Seems to be hidden. So maybe we can ignore that one. What if we do the second one? Length of type. 2. Right, give us back. No? It's a bit strange, isn't it? Seems to be these dummy elements. Maybe we can try CMC table. Try that first. As you can see, a lot of this is just messing around, trying to get the right, studying their HTML. All right, that seems to work. So .cmc table, which is good. And then obviously inside that, we want to put the table itself. Should be, no, maybe not. This. Why isn't that playing nicely? Doesn't seem to be right, does it? I'm not sure. There might be something funny going on here. Let's try this first, and then see what we get back. So if we can, maybe get like the tag name, or let's have a look. We'll go to soup. Okay, no, .find, and we'll just pass that in. So .cmc table. We'll print this. Let's see what this comes back with. Okay. Well, that's not good. I'm wondering if we need to wait. So let's just Google this. So beautiful soup. Wait for page render. See what comes up. Okay, so it's using Phantom.js. It seems a bit complicated. Requests.get. So that might be better. Let's have a look at the source code and see if if that CMC table is actually a class name that they're using. Yeah, it is. So it is in there. So the HTML is exactly here, which is good. So it's not doing some React thing. Maybe we're just using this this incorrectly. Find all, find ID. Let's have a look at the document. This is very hard documentation to read. All right, find title. Ah, okay, so maybe that's the problem. So find div. How do we pass a class? Class equals title. Okay, maybe that will work. Class equals. Does that work? Nope. Anybody's used Beautiful Soup before? Open to some help here. Let's just Google Beautiful Soup query selector. .select. Maybe that's the better term. Select CMC table. All right, let's see if this works. All right, there we go. So that seems to have worked, and hopefully it doesn't crash our terminal again, which I think it just did. So just be mindful that this is probably not. Maybe I should be doing this in iTerm because I think VS Code is a bit finicky. Sorry about that, guys. Try that again. At least we got the data now, which is good. So CD projects code monitoring allows script on the side here for you. All right. Try it again. And 3, great. Great. So now we have all this data, which this, to me, I think is everything that we need, which is fantastic. So we can now call this table. So table equals. So I'm going to pause for a second to see, does anybody have any questions on anything we've covered so far, on how we've got to this, and how we got this data? Check the, nope, no questions. Coolio. Okay, so what did we decide? I think it was the, was it that one query selector for getting that? Yeah. PD and child to CMC link. So let's try that. So I think hopefully if we go table.select and we just pass that in, it might actually just be enough. Let's see what this does. It has no attribute select. Well, that's unfortunate. So suppose now I'm trying to work out how do we, once we've got an object, I think that's just a string, isn't it? Right. I think about the best way to do this. Well, what we can do is we can do TR will get us the first, so that will get us each of these rows, and we can loop over each of those rows. So let's just check. Yeah, we'll check the T body, TR. So there should be 100 of these. What would be nice if it split it up into different selects. And the API is very hard to read. Searching the tree, kinds of filters, find all. It's a little bit confusing. So name, I think it's the tag name. Yep. Attributes. Searching by CSS class. How do you go deeper into the Okay, well, find all. Hopefully we can get this to work. Let's just see. If we do instead of this, we'll do print soup.find all. And we'll go, hopefully it supports nested. So tr body. No. That's very annoying. All right, let's have a look. Beautiful soup. Nested. Find all. P tag, find all. This library is a little bit confusing to use. This is my first time using it. I'm not exactly sold on it. Well, let's try it again with the find. I think it's the div, and then it's the class equals CMC table. See if this works. Okay, that works. So then how do we ptag.text? How do we search inside that?
Maybe check next element or something like that. There's something called next element.
Yeah, I think next is the sibling. So let's try next.next. Okay, so that worked. So what that means is this is some kind of object. So is there like a children, or how can we
Yeah, find children as well.
PD. See if this works. Okay, that worked. Excuse me. Find all PD or TR. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So if we do find T body, so now we're going to limit it. So this is going to be the table. So table equals, I almost did a const. That's hilarious. Table equals body, so TB body equals, and there might be a better way of doing this. If anybody has a better way, let me know. Now we can go TRs equals T body dot find all ER. Then if we just go print length of the TRs. There we go, 101. So I don't know why that's 101. It should be only 100. But let's see how we go. So, say again?
including the title bar, the rank, the name?
No, it's because we're searching just the body. The title
Oh.
bar's in the T head. So I'm not sure why, but let's just play with this. So we'll go for TR in TRs. VS Code's not having a good day today. Okay. We're going to loop over these. Add a comment, loop over all the TRs in the body, T body. And then why don't we try that selector? So print TR dot, was it search? Select. This one here, select. This is what we want. Try this. Hey, look at this. And then I think it's dot text. Maybe? No. Yeah, text. Text. Okay. No. Let me get inside this. I linked to soup.getText. Soup.I. This is annoying. Wrap, unwrap. Let's Google it again. Beautiful soup, get text, oh, balance. Soup.prettify, no. Soup.b.contents, I don't get it. That's strange. What's the B? Could we try contents? Children. No, it's, I think select just returns a string, doesn't it? That's that problem. So how do we select this? Yes, I select this. Yes, but then how do we actually get the contents of that? That's fine, filtering. Let's try this. Dot name, does that work? No. Because it's a list for some reason. So why don't we try this? Okay, this seems to have worked. Get text. There we go. So we've got a TR here that doesn't seem to have a CMC link, which is quite strange. So let's have a look at the website to see if there's actually, I think it was after the 10th one. So crypto.com coin. And then for some reason, this doesn't have that. So let's remove this input and anchor, see if that fixes it. Interesting. So for some reason, this is not a link, even though it is. Sorry, next one, Binance coin. That's very strange. So why don't we just simplify it a little bit? Can't seem to find. It's very strange. Well, let's have a look. So you can see this is a very manual process of cleaning some of this data. Sometimes the data is not very clean. So where were we? Here. For some reason, there isn't, that's empty. Nth child 2. So why would that be the case? TD. Is that not formatted properly? Like what's TD? I really don't understand why that's the case.
If you see the 11th one, just below that, TR class SC15 kind of thing, that, I think that's the one. Right?
This one here?
After the 10th.
After the 10th, this one here, yeah. So you got TD. It's very strange. Why don't we print? Yeah, that's really weird. Crypto.com coin. It's the Binance one. It's the problem. And it is right here. So let's do some debugging. We'll say if, so this is the const, sorry, TD equals, if not TD, then let's print TR. So we've got TR, TD, interesting. It's an add slot. So you know what is probably happening is I'm not actually seeing it here. So let's load this website up in a less secure browser like Chrome, and we'll probably see an ad. No? Maybe because I have ad block on?
I don't see an ad. I don't have any blocks on.
You can see an ad?
No, I don't see an ad.
What browser are you using?
Chrome without any add-ons.
Interesting. Turn off ad block. Pause on this site. There we go.
Oh, I don't
Look at
see
that. Look at that. So that is what was causing this problem, where we have essentially one of them that doesn't have a thing. So what we can do very simply is just skip this. So we'll say, if not TD, continue. So we'll just skip, right? Probably an add, right? So now what we can do is print td0.get text. Hopefully, there we go. Look at that. So that should be from Bitcoin all the way down to Solana. Solana should be, and that explains why we're getting 101 rows. So Solana should be the last one. There we go.
There's actually a couple of ads on there. I opened it in Explorer.
Oh yeah. Well, if we do this format here, that will skip it. So it won't break your data. So this will only work if you're selecting the text from the second TD. So good thing for us. So that's the first thing. So this is going to be the name equals. Now what else do we need? We need the price. We want to get the price here. So this is, I'm assuming, going to be the fourth one. So let's try and get the fourth one. So this is going to be TD name And then we'll have, underneath this, we'll have the TD price, which we, the fourth one. That. So price equals TD price text. Then let's go print name price. There we go. There you have it. So I'm actually going to parse this as an integer. Oh, sorry, a float. So that way we don't have the commas and the dollar signs. That's probably a little bit better for us. Not convert string. Okay. That's annoying. What can we do here? I can convert dollars string to. I thought that should have. Yeah, okay, we're gonna have to do some regex parsing. That's annoying. Python regex replace. So I think we need to import RE. Just stands for regular expression. Then, oh, actually, I think we just do the old way. Let's try that. Get text. Dot place $sign with nothing. Then replace the comma also with nothing. Hopefully that fixes it. They're now being parsed as floats, which is great. That's what we want. So that means now when we're going to convert this into a JSON array, into JSON, and store it somewhere. Or you could do CSV, whichever one you prefer. And then we only want the top 10, but that's fine. You can limit that if you want. Cool. Okay, so now the next thing is actually saving this to a some kind of object. So we'll say prices or coins object, and we'll say coins name equals price, like that. Now, if we do print coins, that should be an object for us, like that. So this is now a JSON object. And then I always forget how to do this. Python write object to JSON. Import JSON. I love how easy Python is. And then with open as out file. That's right. It's been a long time since I've done this. So this is going to be our coins.json. W is for write as out file. And then we're going to dump our coins into the out file. So, okay, and then we'll go cat. There we go. There you have it. So just to prove that, if I open that up in coins.json, you'll see we now have a JSON file full of the values. Now, what you could do is you could also read this file in, and you can tag it via a date. So let's do that. So open as out file, And is it read right? Just file for now. Okay, so that seems to have worked. Readings is what we want. So with open JSON.load. Hopefully this will make JSON. No, not readable. Do we have to, really? You have to do both? Read and then write? That's strange. Okay, well, let's try that. So this is just going to be read. Run this now. Coins.json. That doesn't seem to be working. Wonder why. Because there's nothing in there. Okay. Now we have a empty file. And what we're going to do is save this as JSON. So the data equals JSON.load, and then we want to write it. So also we want to append it. So data, I'm going to go, I always forget how to do dates. Date. So import date time, and then date time dot time equals the coins. So this is what we just currently did, and we're storing it against the date time. So this is going to be the data, and then instead of what's going on here? Instead of just the coins, now we're going to rewrite the data again. Hopefully, date today. From datetime import date. H.today. Where are we? Date from time date. Sweet. Then string. What's that complaining about? Might be our coins JSON is broken again. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So you might want to change that to like time, some kind of time stamp or something. ISO. I don't know, you can have a play with exactly which one you want to use, but I'm just going to assume we're doing it every day. And then that's going to save that. So now, whenever we run this function again, it's going to store it on the different date. So you can have a history of the different prices. Now, obviously, you wouldn't do this because this API already exists, and there's all sorts of data out there for this. But this is more just an example of how you would scrape and how you'd store the data and convert it into a JSON. So we're going from a HTML table like this with lots of ads and converting it into a nice formatted, clean JSON file like this. So I know today was a little bit rocky. Thanks for bearing with me. Let's recap a little bit of what we did. So we started off with this URL lib.request library, and that's pulling, essentially just reading plain HTML. And we're passing that into this library called Beautiful Soup, which we installed with pip using HTML parser. And then we spent a bit of time trying to get the table. I think we might even be able to simplify this now. So if we do select CMC table body, hopefully that won't break it. Let's just check. And okay, so I think that works. So just delete everything in here just to prove it. There we go. So that's simplified that a little bit. So we're selecting this table that we manually found by looking in through our through our trusty inspect element, trying to identify exactly what classes and stuff we needed and whatnot. We're looping over all the TRs, and for the name, right, we're getting a second one. We've worked out that there's an add, so if there's no second TD, we skip it, right? Probably an add. So when we set the name with the get text, and then we get also the price from here. And then we do a little bit of parsing on the, we don't need that RE anymore, I don't think. So do a little bit of parsing to get rid of the squiggly, the dollar signs and the commas. And then we simply append that to this big JSON object that we've got here. And the last thing we do is we load the file, we append it with today's date, and then we write to the file. It's probably a better way to do this. Sorry, my Python was a little bit rusty today, and obviously this new library as well. So thanks for bearing with me. But hopefully I'll post all this code up in here as well, so you guys can have access to that. So that's just pasted in there for you, the most recent one. Rocky is how you learn. Yes, it is, very much. And then what I'll also do while I'm at it is add this to our GitHub. So if you haven't visited our GitHub, we've got a lot of, every webinar I do, I put them up on GitHub and you can fork them and stuff. Got a lot of things there. I always prefix webinars with webinar, and this is going to be Python scraping, what's the name of it? Coin market cap. With beautiful soup. Okay, so just copy this in for you guys. This will be the GitHub. I clone that, or play with, fork it, do whatever you want with it. And I'm going to hit in it. It's remote add origin. And then do git add -a. Great. And sync that. That should be up on GitHub for you. So check that out. Should be pretty easy to run, just with a Python. Make sure you have the beautiful soup installed. I think that was the only requirement. And yeah, you can run that anytime you want. If you wanted to set it up with a batch script or a cron job or something, it would run at 12 o'clock in the morning, and it would append this each day. But that's a good example of how we do some web scraping. Hopefully you'd be better at it than me once you've learned how to read this documentation. It's a little bit hard to parse, but thanks for sticking around. Thanks for learning, and hopefully you guys found it useful. Is there any questions before I stop recording for those on YouTube? If not, cool. If you're on YouTube, thanks for joining.